Okay, this is back to part 2 of video 9.1, square roots. If you'll look at this and take a pause and just kind of get some terminology. Oopsies. Okay, so get some terminology of the square root when we're talking about them. They're actually radicals, and my daughter's going to get her butt beat in a moment. She's trying to tickle my feet. So, hold on one moment while I take care of. Okay, so what I was trying to say before my daughter had to be a little stinker is this, we often call these square roots, but what it really is a radical. And this is a radical symbol. This is referred to as the radican. And this is the index. The index that we're using this year is 2. We're just talking square roots. But this can be other numbers, and you'll get to deal with that more like in Algebra 2, maybe some in Algebra 1. So just to be aware that that can change. Okay, thank you. We'll go to the next slide. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think the video check for this one is going to be Boston, because that's where my daughter just came back from a couple days, and apparently she was missing her mom. She'll probably deny that, but she's trying to harass me while I'm trying to make videos. Okay, so now that oh, she's yelling, she hears me. Now that we got through that, we're evaluating a radical expression, square root. We're going to evaluate the square root, and we can say it that way, the square root of g squared times the sum of h plus 2 when g equals 5 and h equals 2. So we're going to substitute in values for the variables. Wherever I see a g, I put in a 5. Wherever I see an h, I put in a 2. Here's something we need to make sure that we're really aware of. And let me come and find my creative pen again. And I think this time we'll have stars since we have a starburst. We still follow the order of operations. That is still our guiding practice. So when we're doing this, we need to start with parentheses. So what do I have in parentheses? 2 plus 2, so that becomes 4. Then I go to exponents, and that's 5 squared, so I have 25. 25 times 4, I can now do my multiplication and get 100. Hopefully you know 100 is a perfect square of 10 times 10, so the square root of 100 is 10. So hopefully you know all of that. Take a moment to write it down. Okay, so we're going to solve an equation using square roots. We have a construction worker at the top of a skyscraper. He accidentally drops a bolt from the height of 500 feet. Really hoping that none of us is walking under that at that time, because it's not going to feel good to get hit in the head by something. So we're told to use the equation of d equals 16 times t squared, or multiply t by 16 multiplied t squared, to determine the time in t in seconds that it will take for that bolt to fall to the ground below. So using our equation, we have this, and it's being told that the distance of the height, the distance is the height, so d is going to be 500 feet. I'm going to plug that in, d, wherever I see d, put 500. I get 500 equals 16 multiplied to t squared. I need to get t all by itself, so one of the things I start with is I divide both sides by 16. When I do that, we get 31.25, or 31 and 25 hundredths, equals t squared. But I want one single t by itself. So I'm not done. I need to take the square root to both sides. Did we hear that? I have to take the square root to both sides, just to make sure. Setting it a third time is kind of an important thing. Maybe you want to really write this down, highlight it, put stars around it. Take the square root of both sides. Our goal is to get the variable, one little lonely variable. T squared's not lonely. It's got a buddy named t, and they're going to hang out. We don't want that. We want one t. To undo that, I use the square root. So when I take the square root of 31.25, and yes, you may use your calculator, I'm going to get 5.6. When I'm being equal, then I've taken the square root of this side, I take the square root of this side. Oh my goodness, she's saying it again. So the square root of t squared, well, I'm going to have t times t, so that's t. So 5.6 is basically equal to t, or approximately equal. So I would say it'll take about 5.6 seconds. Does this seem reasonable? Check back at your list. Why is this a reasonable answer? Why is this not a reasonable answer? Refer back to your list to see, does this answer seem reasonable? This is the last video for 9.1. Make sure that in the homework that you write the little word Boston and put video next to it. and box it in so that I can see it, I can find it and give you credit.